Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Are You in Your Softness or Your Survival? And I want to start this podcast with a quote by Brené Brown. You deserve to be in environments that bring out the softness in you, not the survival in you. And most of us know exactly what Brené Brown meant when she said this. There are places and people that let us soften, and there are places and people that make us tighten, guard ourselves, shrink, defend ourselves, sometimes even without realizing it. But here's where it gets tricky. What happens when we leave the soft environment and step into the noisy one? Even though we're deserving of having beautiful, wonderful people around us, we don't always get that. And if we're demanding that it has to be that way, and if it's not, we're going to go into this defensive mode, this guarded mode, this negative mode, this harsh mode, then we're going to often be removed from our heart and our true self and the things that we want and the softness that comes from within us. And this actually came up for me the other day. I was feeling really good. I had just gotten my hair done. I was walking down a city street. And then as I walked down one block, I felt my mood shift really quickly. Someone had walked by me and brushed my shoulder, and they didn't say excuse me or sorry. I looked at this store and the front window felt kind of negative to me. Cars were honking. It was kind of hot. The energy felt rushed and edgy and a little aggressive, and I felt my mood drop, and I started to feel tired and negative. But I was quite aware that I was just feeling happy and peaceful, and it disappeared so quickly. And then I started to think about, okay, this environment feels harsh. It feels like more of a survival environment. But I can't expect this environment to make me feel better. I need to bring the softness. I need to bring the divine, the love, the peace. I need to elevate myself at all times. Because if not, I am depending on the outside world to make me feel better, to give me what I need to feel okay. And I started to think, what if the work isn't always to find the right environment, but to become the environment we need, to carry it in our body, in our breath, in our presence. And like I always say, it's not about ignoring what's difficult or pretending that things don't affect us, but it's about building an inner field strong enough to hold the noise without becoming it. And it reminds me of that idea. It's like looking in the mirror and expecting our reflection to smile first. It sounds funny, but in a way, we want life to give us something before we smile. And I get it. There are things that are challenging and difficult. But if we don't want to be on a roller coaster and we want to find joy, then we have to have a perspective that we're always generating the light within. We're always grateful for what we have. We always know uncertainty is our best friend. We accept what's happening. We try not to resist. We're always in that cycle. And knowing that we are the love that we seek. And therefore, no matter who we are with and what we are doing, we are generating that love. Now, I'm not saying it's going to come to all of us naturally, but it is a practice. And the minute I saw that when I was walking down the street, I just shifted my energy. I thought to myself, I am the light of light. I generate the light within me. And the stuff around me has nothing to do with my connection with all that is. And I remembered maybe and the unlimited field, and I was grateful just to walk. And there all of a sudden, all my peace came back, all my light came back, all my joy came back. And the only thing I changed was my decision not to feed into the outside world, not to feed into the fact it shouldn't be noisy, it shouldn't be loud, that person shouldn't have tapped my shoulder. I let all that go, and I didn't put any energy towards resisting. Instead, I put the energy towards the light within me and opening my heart and generating the feelings and the emotions and the experience that align with me. So how can we do this? And one of the easiest things to do is to always remember what you're grateful for. It sounds so simple and people talk about it all the time, but it actually really works. If you think about it, I'm walking down the block, I'm starting to feel negative for these little things that are happening in my environment. But I could shift that perspective and say, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful I can walk. I'm grateful I could smell. And that includes the smell of the city on a very hot day. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful that life is uncertain. I'm grateful for all the love I feel in my heart. Just that entire practice, it elevates you and it puts everything in perspective. Sometimes I'll just use the maybe practice. Maybe everything is still okay. Maybe I could just open my heart. Maybe I can handle this. Maybe I'm just going to take a deep breath and let it all go. And I don't do this, but I do know that some people enjoy creating this inner soft place. And whether they're walking or lying down, they close their eyes and they bring up a place in their mind that makes them feel soft. It could be real, it could be imagined, a beach, at sunset, a quiet forest, a warm room where someone loves you just as you are. And then you ask yourself, what do I feel? Where do I feel this in my body? In your chest, in your belly, in your shoulders. And then you let that softness expand just a little and you breathe into it and you carry that with you. Isn't that so interesting that you can generate through a thought and idea a feeling, and that feeling can end up in a place in your body, and through that you can expand it and soften. It just reminds us that we just need to keep tapping into something else within us. And another thing I often think about is the idea of resistance. We truly get into these states that we believe we know better than life itself. When life is giving us what it's giving us and we go into survival mode. I don't like this. This isn't happening. I'm just going to get through it. And then we're living like that. We're willing to suffer. We're willing to be miserable. And we forget the softness within us. We forget the love and the alignment and the potential. And we forget that we are here on this earth for a short period of time. So why would we be in survival mode? Why wouldn't we reach deep within ourselves and realize life is bringing something our way? And how can I soften within myself to accept it, to receive it, to allow life to happen? And that's not a passive state. It's actually a very active state because you're allowing yourself to receive what life is giving you. And in that softness, you will respond in the most expansive way. We do not respond in our best way when we're in survival mode. Sometimes our responses are fear. Sure, sometimes we'll come up with a great idea, but we are in a constant fear state. But when we allow, when we say this is what's happening, we relax our entire body, we open our mind, we connect to the highest part of ourselves and the universe and life and the potential in the future, and we come out ahead, whatever that means. Peace, alignment, creativity, new opportunities, new possibilities. But that is what softness brings. Softness brings the right words. Softness brings the right perspective. Softness brings the peace in our heart that we long for every day. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me, Allison@AllisonCarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe, A Year Without Men, Maybe Everything's Okay, A Parent's Guide to Less Stress and Worry, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. If you'd like to buy my Maybe cards or my Maybe digital journal, they're available on Amazon, Etsy, and my Stan store. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.